can see us.
Just keep waving.
I'm going to wave above so that nobody can see my hand. But I'm waving.
Hello? Are you there?
Just keep waving.
Man, I'm getting a whole workout. This is great.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Just keep waving.
Hi.
This is the show.
Good
where we wave the
afternoon.
whole show.
Is anyone here? I don't see anyone here. Where'd everybody go?
It's broken. It's not broken.
Bootlicker.
What's up?
Hello.
Hello. Can I stop waving now?
I think you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You got people who responded, so it's okay. Okay to stop. We mixed things up a little today.
A lot.
Like
A lot of it, a little bit.
The shows.
If we really wanted to be crazy about it, I'd be over there, you'd be over here.
That's true. That would be.
And Jason would be producing from his desk.
Yeah.
I would like to have you know that we are not early. It is exactly 2:01
2:01.
in Mountain Standard Time,
It's true.
according to the stream computer, which doesn't always tell us the right stuff. So
No, it's right. That's what my phone says. The phone is
my
always right.
wristwatch says
phone is
2:03.
Mine says 2:01. Yours is fast.
Jason has maybe a watch that's always correct. Is that the thing? Do you have one of those?
Uh-uh.
Oh, well, then never mind.
No, mine's expensive, so it's always wrong.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expensive watches are always wrong.
You gotta wind them.
Do you have to
Or
wind
wear
yours?
them.
No, a
You
lot of
gotta
times
wear
they
it.
run fast, believe it or not.
Yours has to have an auto wind. But
It's auto. Yeah, it's
Oh,
auto.
okay.
one, yeah.
Mine does too, but I take mine off on the weekend, and
No.
so every Monday I pretty much have to reset it.
yeah. It's funny. I went through a.
We should get you a watch winder. There's one out in the garage. I just don't know where the power supply is for it. It needs a wall wart.
I went through like a series of time, like, I don't know, 2 months ago maybe, where I was like watching a bunch of like watch repair videos because I find them fascinating. Because that's like some wizardry in there,
Mm-hmm.
some like
Yeah.
engineering wizardry. And
Watches
I
are
find it
pretty
really-
spectacular apparatuses.
Mhm.
Apparatizes. Yep.
Phil, that is Jen's hands,
Oh.
Hi.
and that's Jen.
Hello.
And while she's not painting right this minute,
I
she's
will be.
about to.
I'm going to. I'm painting this cute little
Source
dragon.
does says apparently we moved to winter time yesterday. That's not true.
That doesn't happen for like another month.
Yeah, November
Mm-hmm. Is it middle November or?
It's next week.
next week,
Oh, it's next week.
first week.
Oh,
But
wow. Okay.
like in Europe, they switched over the weekend.
Yeah,
There's this
Nerds.
different.
we got pushed forward due to like Bush, one of the
Nice.
Bushes maybe
Oh really?
Oh, we
got
Changed-
pushed-
changed ours?
changed it like by
Oh.
a week within the
That's-
last couple decades. Yeah.
Silly.
We used to be the same as everybody else in the world. Then they made us a week later because reasons.
I think that our reasons
T. Schmidt.
are silly.
What's going on?
Jason
I did not paint
his
my nails, Philip. No. Punisher says we brought in the real talent today. Yes. Jen, quite possibly the best painter in the building. Also true.
You're not going to hear
So I
me
don't do it
deny
very often. I don't like to show people up.
This is the Super
Yeah.
J Trio.
The Super J Trio.
T. Schmidt,
I love
thank
it.
you. Yeah, source October 27th. Good old W. Was it George Jr.? George Jr.
I don't know.
But we always have summertime, yes. So I don't even know why we have winter scheduling here. Well, we don't
do anything.
We don't do any of that.
Yeah.
Change your clock crap. It's
We're not
always the
crazy.
time it's supposed to be here in Arizona. She does pick the best colors.
I do.
Bright, vibrant.
Yep.
It
So
looks
if
like
I'm doing
ultramarine
it-
blue and maybe some dark plum.
If I want, so here's what I'm going for.
Ooh.
Yeah. I saw that and I was like,
Right.
that's
Ooh,
rad.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Jen's got a plan.
So I want the flames to be magenta, like bright pink.
Ooh.
So what I start with the lighter color, right? And then go darker on flames? Isn't that the
Lighter, yeah,
opposite?
lighter color
Okay.
towards the source of the flame.
Okay.
You probably want to zoom in a little bit, babe.
I don't do that.
That puck, the knob to your right.
It's up off the table.
This right here.
That one.
Yeah,
Yep.
turn it counterclockwise. There you go.
Oh. Look at me.
There you go.
Cool.
Paint Licker's like, pink! Okay, so Jen is your hero, Paint Licker.
Yep.
Because anytime you say pink, she's like, yes.
Yes.
Pink is always the choice.
Pink is always the choice.
Vector says, for me, it's good because now I can go to bed earlier. That's not how that works.
That's not how that works.
Just because you change the clock doesn't mean you're going to bed any earlier. Well, you are in relation to when the sun rises and sets, but it's the same. I like here in Arizona that we get to notice how different the sunrise and sunset are because we don't do the time change.
Mm-hmm.
So we see that, darkness hangs out longer, comes earlier, as opposed to moving the day to make it fit like some window of time. I actually dig that.
We also just always have really cool sunsets.
We do have neat sunsets in Arizona.
Yeah.
We have so
Like
much
the
pollution.
sky is burning kind of sunsets.
Well,
It's from the pollution.
Well, we don't talk about that.
yeah. At least it's pretty.
Yeah, it is.
We don't talk about the pollution part.
Yeah. It's it's a state of being.
Nick Pye got my spray cans and restocked on colors I've been using. Super excited to try the primers. I'm super excited for you to give us some feedback on them. Oh, because the stream ends earlier by our time if it wasn't obvious. That's so true. That's so true. We get so stuck in the fact that we just stream at 2 p.m. But now for the rest of the world, it's actually a hour earlier.
Oh, so all of our European
now,
folks
is it going to change
get
for
to
them
enjoy
now?
an extra hour of our stream.
No, they've already changed, babe.
Oh, and we won't change.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So everybody else, but the time will change for everyone who lives in the U.S. though.
Yeah, it'll all fall back.
Well, but I mean the stream time will change for them too.
Yes. Yeah, it'll go an hour earlier in the day. It'll be at 1 o'clock,
Well, no, we'll still be at 2.
but it'll be 1 Pacific then.
1 Pacific.
And it'll be an hour earlier for everybody in the U.S. Be an hour earlier for everybody across the globe. Flat Black Nickel Sack, you got it. We moved sunset earlier by an hour. We just reached out and tuned the sun.
It's actually really annoying because whenever I think about it, I always have to think about it with relation to us being the one that's changed because everybody else is normal-ish. They're doing the normal thing.
Hey, Gabe.
Come on,
Gabe, if you're listening, Gabe, we're replacing you with this guy, Coconut678, who asks, important question, have you tried making your dropper bottles out of chocolate so that you can eat
Ooh.
them once they're empty? That's the kind of marketing creativity we need around here, people.
Jeez.
I need Cadbury Pro Acryl bottles.
No, we don't need that, Jason.
Oh, my God, that's horribly awesome. Zaba Art, what is going on?
Zaba?
Lucas, what's happening? How are you?
What's going on?
All right, this part right here is his like spiky things, right? It's not all flames.
No, it has his back spikes
Okay,
are
or sideways.
involved there too. There should be one around you someplace where you can see like a
Oh,
painted one,
that's
or
probably-
grab Jordan's or something, just so you can see details.
I'm looking at the video on the.
Zaba Art, we are doing wonderfully. Thank you for asking. Great to see you here. Big fans of your artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Some fantastic stuff, especially these latest ones that are like marshmallows and like very cute, crazy
Yeah.
It's
things.
got a marshmallow on his model.
And yeah, huge fans.
Prometheus
Huge
cooking up a
fans.
marshmallow.
Gabe says, doesn't that just turn the outside of the bottle into a paint transfer device into your mouth hole? I mean, we shouldn't be
There's a
talking
certain
about
rule
that,
around
right?
here.
We shouldn't say that out loud, right? Because we're not supposed to eat the paint.
Don't eat the paint.
Don't
I
eat
feel
the
like
paint.
Gabe is getting baited here.
Don't eat the paint. Doesn't that just turn the outside of the bottle into a paint transfer device into your mouth hole? What is that different than the inside of the bottle? So I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. It is Monday. Back at it. You see the paints are finally at your country, so you need to try them. We should get you some.
Yeah.
You know people now.
Mm-hmm.
You are seeing. As a matter of fact, you're looking at the promo guy right there.
Hi.
That's Jordan. as he paints the wonderful Prometheus model from Mindworks Miniatures. Yeah, we can get you some paints, Lucas, if you want to try those out. And yeah, we've been in Europe and such for quite a while. I know we just did SMC with Mali. We sponsored the speed paint there, which was a ton of fun. And we plan on doing a lot more stuff in the EU in the coming year. We're making some big moves. Big moves! You thought that was the cat's tail, not a marshmallow?
Nope.
I mean,
that cat's tail is forever gone.
I think it's forever gone.
I have to resculpt that cat's tail.
You coming to LVO and Adepticon? Well, fantastic.
We'll see you there.
We are at both. That'll be awesome. Are you teaching classes at LVO? Or just hanging out? We do, Paint Liquor says, only a select few know you're supposed to eat the paint. You're not supposed to eat the paint. Why would you even say that? It's the big word don't that goes in front of it. Do you know that there are all these people who get our sticker and trim it so that it says eat the paint?
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's the thing that people do?
Yes. And they even take the time to put the Monument Hobbies back in the right place after they do it.
That's amazing.
So that the sticker says... Count off the red asks, what is LBO? It's LV, as in Victor. Victor, Las Vegas Open. It is a miniatures wargaming show that has evolved out of a tournament put on by the fine folks at Frontline Gaming. Sounds like a sticker design issue. What, that we made it to where you could cut it apart and put it back together?
Unintentional.
And a week before Adepticon, you have a class in Vegas, so you'll travel to Golden Demon. You going over to Verco's and teaching? That's awesome. We're right down the road in Phoenix. So you'll go from Vegas to Milwaukee. I just got back from Milwaukee visiting the show location with Hank and the team from Adepticon. They invited us out to take a look at the convention center, and the Baird Convention Center is amazing. Adepticon this year is going to be spectacular.
I am very excited for it.
It's going to look very empty. Is it true you created the Procurl spray cans to rival Galaxy Gas? Yes. No, wait.
Galaxy Gas?
Yes.
What is
Galaxy Gas is the mafia selling you nitrous oxide, or not, laughing gas, in
Tulsa King?
Tulsa King.
Oh, I'm only an episode in, so I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, it's Tulsa. It's Tulsa King in real life. No, Galaxy Guy. It's this whole loser issue where these guys that are selling basically industrial size whippets to kids.
Industrial size whippets.
You know, like why are they at smoke shops? We have all of this smoking paraphernalia. Oh, and by the way, we have this one culinary tool that's made to make 8 million servings of whipped cream, should you like it. So they do trim the stickers with our own hobby knife, just to add insult to injury.
I thought it was good.
100%.
It's got a little slow opener.
Yeah, look. So we've always said we wanted to go up to Verco's for one of the weekend painting get-togethers because they literally Vegas is like 4 hours from us drive time, so it's not that big of a deal to take a weekend trip and go up there. And we'd love to go visit Verco's and hang out with one of the groups whenever they have a guest in town like yourself to paint. So depending on your schedule when you're there at Verco's, if it's classes all the time or if you've got some time to have fun and all that, we might love to come up and see you. Although we'll just see you at Adepticon the next week. So there's that too. Ghost Hunter says, "Hail, Lady Commander, Gentastic, Queen of all she surveys. They built a monument to her name. Long may she reign."
Thank you.
Yeah. AWOL says, "Wish I could catch you all at Genghis Con in February." Boy, February's Gamma. Beginning of the year is always so problematic, right? Because we have LVO in January. Thank you for that follow. We have LVO in January. We have Gamma in February. Adepticon in March. Right after Adepticon is WonderCon, if we choose to do WonderCon again, which was fun last year, so we may do that again. I just got them asking us questions again. Zava says, I will have class weekend before Adepticon, then I will spend some free time around with your buddy Jan. Oh, okay, very cool. Every weekend is a great weekend when you're using the best paints on the planet. Nick Pye, ain't it great? Ain't it great? Hey, Mike, what's going on? Got the Monument Painters on stream and the true radio DJ of Monument in the producer chair. Yes. Wait, are you saying I have a face for radio?
You have voice for radio.
You're not helping, Jordan.
You're also the prettiest here.
Right?
Hey.
Yeah.
According to him.
Minutes.
According to him. He.
Right?
I guess that's technically not true. I'm so used to him being over here. He
Damn
is the prettiest
Skippy.
between the two of us.
Damn Skippy.
It's fine.
Jen lifts the heavy stuff and I just act pretty.
Jen lives the heavy
Pretty
stuff.
accurate.
That's our whole relationship summed up in one sentence.
Yeah.
I keep her around because she lifts the heavy stuff.
She lifts the heavy stuff.
Roadside, what's happening? Ghost Hunter said, Jordan, today's gym pump was 10 of 10. Highly recommend. I don't understand.
Okay. Awesome.
Roadside,
Glad
how
you're
you doing?
Pumped up in the gym.
I love the Route 66 logo for your Roadside. That's awesome. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Like I said, anybody do anything fun?
What did I do this weekend? I think I basically did almost nothing on Saturday.
Friday night, you played a
Oh yeah.
play test of our game.
I had a wonderful time Friday night. That was super fun.
Gabe and I played on Saturday and had a great time. I worked on Saturday on a special new website that's coming soon from us, like within the next week, that you will be excited about.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, chat. You thought we showed you all the fun stuff last Friday?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No. We have some amazing things in store for you as we close out the year and move into 2025. Boy, it sounds so funny to say,
I know, right?
doesn't it?
Isn't it crazy?
I feel like I am kind of used to 2024 and about ready for it to go away, but it just doesn't seem like it should be that soon.
It is crazy to me how quickly this year has
Yeah,
gone.
I was going to just say that. It's weird that it's already almost done.
Yeah.
Like, we're almost done with October.
It's
Jason
really
Jobs
sweet.
one more thing. Oh, and one more thing. Mike says, I'll be proud. I ignored half my workday to finally finish base coating the same 6 minis that have been on your desk since July. As you should, fine sir. About damn time is what I say to that. Ghost Hunter says, someone is spreading rumors on Facebook that Monument Hobbies only sells left-handed paintbrushes. True.
No.
Jen,
That's a lie.
no.
I'm
True.
proving it right now.
That's why Jen is like the best painter in the office, because look at her. Look at the wonders she does with a left-handed paintbrush while painting right-handed.
Yep.
You had a couple Halloween parties over the weekend, Flapjack. That's cool. We got invited to one, but it was really awkward. It was by our neighbor,
You totally should have gone.
and we didn't go.
That would have been awesome.
Jason
I was
just
up here with
left.
Gabe.
Jason just
Jason
left.
left me.
I blame Gabe.
Wait, did you go?
No, he came here and left me
Oh.
to be the awkward one. Like, I don't want to go outside of my house because they're going to see me and wonder why I'm not at their party.
Fair.
And then their kids knocked their ball over the...
Road says your brother and I recently went through a complete rebranding. Wait.
What happened?
Through a complete rebranding, are trying to make sure we follow all the cool painter peoples. Who are you and your brother? Do we know you already? Is Roadside Miniatures a new face for someone we already know? You can't hide like that from us.
Sneaky.
You started playing Metaphor Refantasio last night because a several 100-hour JRPG is definitely what you should be doing. I love several 100-hour JRPG. Seems like time well invested, friend. Say you're also looking to possibly changing over to y'all's paint in the near future. Well, I mean, why shouldn't you?
Definitely should.
You've got a good old red-blooded American Route 66 logo in your
Yeah,
name. You should be
seriously.
using the best damn paint on the planet that happens to also be made in North America. Should have gone as the seal of approval. I do have a built-in Halloween costume. I didn't even think about that.
Oh gosh, please,
That thing is so hot.
please. It's cooling down.
It's so hot.
It's cooling down,
though.
Jason.
It was not cool that day. Jen, do you want to go outside your house normally? No.
I mean, not to neighbors' parties, no.
You need to go make a mold, guys. Lucas, take care. Everybody, Zaba Art. Check him out on all of the socials and the amazing stuff. Buy some models. Some of the most amazing sculpts.
They're
Fun.
really awesome.
Artistic, great stuff. We will see you soon. North America. Arizona is in North America? I mean, technically. We're kind of our own thing. We're like the better version of Texas because we don't follow daylight savings, but we do have personal income tax. So I don't know. There's an argument to be made there. I'd probably rather mess my clock up a couple times a year and not pay taxes than the other. So where and what are you buying, Mike? I mean, that's up to you. We're not telling you nothing. Law Dog says, "Whoa, slow your horses, partner." I'm from Texas, so I can make jokes about Texas. Born and raised Texan right here. I'm only in Arizona because I left Texas in '98. Never looked back.
I was about to say.
Not come to Arizona immediately.
Yeah, Arizona is the better version of Texas because I'm here.
It's also
Dun, dun, dun.
also
He
less
said,
humid.
Law Dog says, born, raised, and a traitor.
Dang. Wow, the call-outs.
Born, raised, and a traitor. You know, every time I think about it, there was a point in time where we discussed moving Monument to Austin. Mm-hmm. It was a short discussion because Jen said she would die in the humidity. So
Very likely.
So it was a very short discussion. And now that Austin has become kind of its own little cesspool, we probably wouldn't do that anyway. But I was just out at an event in Allen, Texas, and I got to tell you that area of North Texas is very intriguing. Still don't think we'll ever move Monument Hobbies. We like Arizona. But I do love Texas. Punisher, that was years ago. That was like 6 years ago. Yeah, Austin ain't Texas. Source says, how has Austin become a cesspool? It's just, you know, anytime you get around like a capital, it's just too much of a place that is too congested, too expensive, too much like everywhere else big city, right? It doesn't feel very Texas compared to other cities in Texas. Not that like going to Dallas or Houston is necessarily very Texas. All big cities tend to start feeling alike at some point in time, but the Dallas Metroplex and the Houston Metroplex all feel more Texas than the Austin surrounding areas do. A lot of tech companies from California moved to Austin, so there's a lot of just various different traits of Austin that don't make it feel necessarily like Texas as much. Mike says, tell me where I'm making poor choices. Fooker, what's going on? Happy Monday to you. San Antonio is still very Texas. Although, holy cow, has it gotten huge, too. It's nuts.
This is funny because this is like the biggest state in the country, and I've spent like less than 72 hours there total of my life.
Texas?
Yeah.
Well, you were in Washington in the Pacific Northwest and California, so unless you're going there for something specific, it's not like in the way of anything else you were going to, unless you're going to like New Orleans by car.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you would have experienced all of Texas had you been going to New Orleans from the Pacific
That's likely.
Northwest by car. You would have been like, does this state ever end?
Yeah.
Especially if you hit it from the top of the panhandle and then have to go to like Louisiana.
Doesn't it actually take like 3 days to drive through?
No. No, you can drive
There
across
are
Texas.
places in Texas that are closer to Arizona, though, than to other places in Texas.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we're closer to El Paso.
El Paso.
Than Houston is to El Paso.
Yeah.
Oh. So
Yeah, El Paso from here is only like 9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I had to drive there. It was easier for me to drive there to get my birth certificate than anywhere else.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
That's
because I could just go to Albuquerque and then a little ways further to El Paso. You spent a decade at Fort Hood, Texas one summer? Nice. Yeah, San Antonio, everything's just growing, right? I feel like every city in America is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm sure there's some that are shrinking in order for others to get bigger. But James, we're in Phoenix. You say you were in Cottonwood? Is that what I read? Cottonwood for 8 years. Yeah, we're in Phoenix. What? Genuine Vision? What? Pixie Lou says it's Jan's birthday. That's not true. Jan can't have birthdays. He's already so old they don't allow him to have birthdays anymore. He reached the point where they said, "No, sir, you are not allowed any further birthdays." What's going on, Jan? And hey, Pixie, what's happening? Happy birthday, Jan. What's happening? How are you and the kiddo and mama doing? We don't get to see enough of you anymore, man.
And welcome, Raiders.
Mike says he drove from Orange County, California to Boston, Massachusetts in 3 days. Yes.
That seems
very reasonable.
I guess it's really dumb for me to have said that because Gabe and Philip literally drove from here to Indianapolis in 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Red Spartan, take it easy.
Bye, Red Spartan.
Thanks for popping in. Genuine says, I are youngling. Lies. Lies. We know you. You're old like me. Turned 2 last month, Jan. That's insane. Insane. Glad to hear you guys are doing all right. Texarkana to LA, El Paso is halfway. Texarkana to Los Angeles? Yeah. Everybody forgets like El Paso is like seated all the way underneath New Mexico. Right? Like it's the arm of Texas that reaches out and touches Mexico and Arizona. People forget all that. It is kind of isolated from the rest of Texas, though. The rebranding was going from playing video games to painting miniatures and playing tabletop games. You still got by Nodens. Oh, Nodens, I remember you. Sure. Very cool. Well, good luck with the whole endeavor. Roadside miniatures. Red Spartan says, not born in Texas, but earliest memories are from El Paso. Texas, moved there when you were 2. Oh, nice. El Paso is not a place I ever spent much time in because it is so far off the beaten path. And anytime I was headed west from Texas, we would go through like Albuquerque and like out through Amarillo and Lubbock. El Paso was just never a thing, right? It's kind of its own world.
Where is El Paso in the great
it's
scheme?
a border town. So
it's a border town. It literally is like, it's not quite like 3 corners, but it's like Arizona, New Mexico, and Mexico all, and Texas all at the same spot.
Oh, cool. Interesting.
Isn't all of Texas isolated from the rest of Texas? I hear it's a very big place. Nah. There's like a north-south corridor on the 35 that'll take you through all of the places you need to know. You know, it's basically, you know, Dallas, Waco, Austin, San Antonio, and then you dive off a little bit to go to Houston. That's all the major metropolitan areas. And then you've got like Amarillo out west, Lubbock, Tyler out east, Wichita kind of to the northwest in the Panhandle, Wichita Falls. And then a ton of small towns that are actually really cool to visit in Texas. One of the things that I used to love was when we would go on tour and come back into Texas from various directions, you would go through all these small towns and you'd like stop and get gas and eat at some little hole in the wall, greasy spoon in a little town in Texas. Fun.
What an interesting place.
Go, Sue, what's happening?
It's so different than like anything that I would have experienced in like Seattle. Seattle feels like it's so far away and so like just contained in its own little bubble.
Pixie Lou, we do the same thing here, just not in Arizona. That's why Jan can rate us now, right? Is it the time change? We're actually on. But it is discombobulating to have to do the daylight savings thing. We were just talking about it in another group last week that why do we still do this stupidity? Just stop it. U.S. time zones melt your poor noggin. Well, it's a big place. You have the same thing over there. Just it's like the UK's just like one spot, right? It's one state.
It's one spot.
And then the next states over have another time zone and another and another and another. When are you brush on priming the marshmallow for Meth Jesus? Your fans want to know. You know, the more people make fun of him, the more he does look like vagabond Jesus. You can't even compute the whole UK being one state. I don't even know, like, how big is the UK size-wise? I think it's like 1/10 the size of Texas. Or something silly like that.
I know that France is the size of Texas.
Crazy. Absolutely.
The UK
crazy.
feels like a California county. Yeah. Yeah, you have such huge land masses here. Huge tracts of land. You think it's roughly the size of Alabama? That seems about right? Kruger says, you want to hear a funny story?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Monument Hobbies, I tried to make realistic looking water for my figurine using epoxy resin and colors. When I poured the resin with the intruder and a very strong chemical reaction took place that caused a temperature of over 40 degrees for over 2 hours, I was momentarily worried that it would melt the plastic. That's 40 degrees C, by the way. The result is an awful lot of bubbles and the blue color turned green. I can show a picture. When I don't understand what is the intruder? You poured the resin with the intruder.
I'm assuming that's the name of a miniature.
Two-part epoxy resins should not cause... I mean, they get hot. That's how they cure, right? There's a whole chemical reaction. The heat cures it, right? So they do get hot. Usually not... I mean, it'll warp like thin plastic walls that you put around it for sure. And it shrinks, which causes it to, like, if you put it up against a wall, it'll dip in the middle and be taller around the edges. So that's why you have to, like, sand it and then polish it. If you talk to people that deal with, like, resin and wood, there's a lot of secondary process that has to go on to really do it right. But when you're doing it for models, you can get away with some of that and not have it be horrible. But it shouldn't discolor the paint necessarily. So that's interesting. I've been doing that for eons and just use a little bit of paint and mix it in with the resin before you pour it. You can fit the UK in the Grand Canyon? What?
That's crazy to think about.
I know it's nuts that in a day you can go all the way from like the bottom to top of Scotland. Like you can like drive around all of Scotland. Putting transparent black to work today, doing some awesome shading. Solway was showing off the transparents and inspired you to give them another go. They're amazing, right? Go through, they're amazing. We don't lie to you around here when we say the transparents are some of the most flexible paints we make. 100%.
Isn't Nikki in town-ish? Like now?
The UK is like 300 miles wide and 600 miles long.
I feel like we got raided by Soulways not too long ago. It said that he was going to be in town.
Oh, the intruder is a chemical that turns epoxy to be hard. Oh, maybe that's the thing. You just wanted it to cure faster? Is that what it is? The UK is about 94,000 square miles. Utah is about 85,000. Oh, okay. What's bigger than I thought? You thought chemicals were for romance? Music lied to you? Well.
No, I'm using it.
Well.
Nope. Chris.
823 miles. I can do that on a motorcycle in a day.
Okay.
Yeah, Kruger. Yeah. Yeah, if there was a hardener in it, like a what's it called? Somebody mentioned activator, but that's not it. I forget what it is. A chemical that you can add to speed up the curing process, then yeah, that might change the color too. Has anyone experimented with using the transparents in Noosh? Is the effect the same, just less? So the interesting thing there is that the transparents are very highly pigmented. So if you were to just take the transparent, any of the colors, and mix them with Noosh without thinning the colors first, you would get a really powerful color and filter. It would work great. Just realize that because they are transparent to start, meaning you can see through them, you think about how intense the coloring is different than the opacity, right? And so the pigmentation in them, the pigment itself is what is see-through. And so it can still be like transparent blue will turn whatever you put it on very, very blue. You will just be able to see a hint of the color of whatever it was underneath it. So if you mix that with Noosh, you will get a very, very blue Noosh equivalent. So if you thin the transparents down first to make them even less opaque and then mix them with Noosh, then you could get some really curious effects. You could play around with it longer and not have the filter that it leaves behind be as intense. So it might give you some really neat kind of less impactful results immediately that you could layer on top of one another. The nice thing with Noosh, again, is once you're done, you can go right back over it with more Noosh, as opposed to things like oils that will reactivate and give you problems if you wanted to try to layer them up and layer them up and layer them up. Nicky is back in the States now. Is his move done?
I think he was just visiting.
Or is he visiting for the holidays? He said he was coming for the holidays.
Yeah.
Right? There's a famous bike route from the southernmost point to northernmost point in the UK. That'd be kind of fun, huh? Chuck says it's on his bucket list. Ghost Hunter says, I used Payne's Gray the other day, and I swear the experience was life-changing. It's an amazing color. Absolutely amazing color. And I do have to admit that someone in the way, way back time said we should do Payne's Gray long before we ever did Payne's Gray. And I was like, no, we already have blue-black, and we're fine. And then when Vince was like, I need a Payne's Gray, I was like, all right, for you, Vince, anything. Yeah, Roadside says, I just moved 500 miles west and only crossed one state line. James Mathias asks, can you mix transparent paints in the same way you would normal paints, or is there a trick to it? Nope, same exact way. They are just acrylic paints. There is nothing different other than, so little paint science here. Generally, pigments are not opaque. There are some that are more opaque than others. They have their opacity levels. But in general, all of the major colors have a transparency to them. Like if you were to go buy single pigment artist acrylics right now, tube acrylics, like the heavy bodies that we've shown off on stream here that we'll be coming out with soon, if you use those, they typically are less opaque because they don't use any other opacifiers in them to help bring that to the front. because they're made to go on canvases and layer colors and mix together in different ways, and that's just how your 2D art world prefers to work. Opacity is not necessarily something that you are holding in the highest regard. Now, house paint, if you're painting wood, opacity becomes a big thing in a lot of cases, right? Because you're trying to put a coating on something, as opposed to a more artistic sense of using color. And so that's what the transparents are. They're very high-end artist acrylics. They are just lower viscosity, meaning they flow a lot easier. They're more akin to being watery, so they feel lighter when you're brushing them on, and they already have a lowered opacity to them because of that single pigment and no opacifier content at all. So that's all that is the difference, though. They're just very high-end acrylics that are used in filtering ways or to spice up colors. You name it. There's all sorts of things you can do with them. They're highly flexible, but you can mix them and do whatever you want to, just like any of your other normal paints. You can mix them with your normal paints. They won't change your paint at all. Just make it more vibrant in some cases. So a lot of fun to play with. You can turn them into washes with the glazed wash medium. You can turn them into filters with Noosh, like we talked about. All sorts of stuff. Pixie Lou got your bike license last month, like for motorcycles? Awesome. From the UK, can't you go all the way to like the tip of Africa? Nonstop?
Via bike?
Yeah. I think you start at the northernmost point, go through the tunnel into Europe, come out in
tunnel
France.
that goes into Europe from the UK?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then you can come out in France. Yeah, it's under the water. It was a big deal. It took them 6 years to dig. They had to dig from both sides and meet in the middle. You never heard of this story?
The
No.
train,
Yeah.
the train goes. There's a train that goes from the UK to France.
Oh.
It's called the Eurostar. And
But it goes directly from the
underneath.
UK to France?
Yeah.
Mhm. It goes underneath.
Under the channel.
Oh. Okay. That's cool. What a neat thing that I didn't know before.
Can you drive a conventional car through there, babe? Or is it just a train?
I don't know. Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought you could take a regular car, too.
I have
right?
not taken the train, so I've never. Been
I've only ever ridden the train through it.
I've never been to England.
Did you say you've never been to England?
I've never been to England.
Oh.
Other than the airport on this last trip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, our distance, we never know how far a thing is distance-wise in the U.S. You just know how long it is in hours
Yeah.
to get there.
Pretty much.
That's
As far as
very
Louisiana, it's about 14 hours. How long does it take you to get to Adepticon?
3 hours by plane.
Oh, you've got speed cameras everywhere? Studio 88, what's going on? The Sip Attorney says this lizard cookie looks like it's going to have a blue raspberry flavor. She's got a really good picture that she's using as a starting point that is super colorful. I love it.
They call it a texture cookie? Lizard cookie.
Yeah, the lizard cookie.
I like it.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Fun.
Yeah.
Mike says, Jordan, you sometimes know things. What's the best place to look for 4x4 wargaming mat? I don't have space or time or desire to make a bunch of gaming boards like the mouse pad material ones. Frontline Gaming?
Yeah, Frontline's probably the best place.
They generally have a lot of designs in stock. Also, Table War.
That's the other one. Yeah. Table War and...
Table War is the one that Frontline stole all their designs from because they were doing mats with Table War first.
I forgot about that, actually.
not to drag up old bones, but yeah, Table War. War Boss Doug and Table War. Chuck's like, we may be talking about different kind of bikes. Mine runs on one Chuck power. Yeah, Chuck's bikes take pedals. Pixie Lou's talking about one with a motor. The Euro tunnel under the channel. The channel, yeah. Yep. He did the long way round and the long way down as well. The long way down was the one to Cape Town, South Africa. I only watched that one, the long way down. The long way round, he went all the way through to, I want to say to like Vladivostok or something like that, right? Did he then transfer over to North America too? Crazy. Like across the channel into Alaska? Nine and a half hours to Milwaukee. That's not actually that far. Anything less than 10 hours is like day travel to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like if I can leave in the morning, be there before dinner, that's just day travel. That's easy. I just say yes. Let's do it.
It almost takes less time than taking an airport.
I'm like, yeah, it's like it doesn't. I don't know what it is. I mean, yeah, driving for 10 hours is a beatdown, but
it is.
But also going to the airport, fighting with airport security, being on a plane, doing all that almost stresses me out just as much.
Well, because if you think about it, right, you get to the airport 2 hours before your flight, and your flight is probably like 3 to 4 hours to get to a place like that. And then you're gonna take an hour to get to wherever you're getting to, so it's like 7 hours or 6 hours or something.
Yeah.
And then instead you're just driving there. You do it in the comfort of your own car, and you take your time.
Yeah. Is that Spyro the Dragon? Is that what
It's
Jen's?
Awesome, the dragon.
Oh, they were
Jen's
just asking
like-
about your reference pick is Spyro the Dragon.
I
they're
don't know.
saying.
It just says cute dragon.
It just says cute dragon. We needed to have started tracking distances in Celsius instead of Fahrenheit. Then we could talk to the rest of the world about travel. They already have words for that. It's called meters and kilometers. Nobody measures distance in Celsius, game delay. Mats by Mars, yeah, they're not the mouse pad ones. They are vinyl and the coated paper ones.
They do make good mats, though.
Frontline and Table War are the ones that I know of in the U.S. There's a bunch like the P-Work War Games over in Europe and stuff like that make really good ones too, but they're hard to get over here. You might find some dealers for them, but Table War and Frontline are the ones to go with. Is the highlight on the Dragon Nova orange, babe?
Not yet.
What is it?
Well, right now it's just regular orange.
Regular orange.
But I'm blending it with the pinks, like my tiger.
He didn't have anything get stolen from him during the long way round until he was in the lower 48. Derpstick, the July 18th one from 2023 had Baby J painting the highlights on the Sacrifice using golden brown. So that's another paint I'm going to get along with pale yellow. Yep, golden brown is great. Dark golden brown, also great if you don't have it. Those two are fantastic. Mike says, I already have $600 worth of mats in my cart from Table War. What? I thought you said you don't have time to build a lot of game tables. What in the world are you doing with $600 worth of mats?
Options.
I think we have like $1,000 worth of mats, and we have a lot of tables.
We do have a lot of tables.
That's too many mats, Mike. They make a couple that are double-sided. You should just get those ones. Yeah, are you carpeting your house in game mats?
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Ghost Hunter says, Derpstick, just buy all of them. It's easier that way. Just get all the colors. It's easier that way. Jen's doing her signature blending. She's kind of wet blending, pushing paint back and forth into itself till she gets the color blend where she wants it, and then she goes and spiffies it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Best painter in the building.
Nope.
Puts us all to shame.
Nope.
Your blends look like airbrush blends when you're done with them. And she doesn't use an airbrush on anything. So
That's
you need very
that's
specific.
the fun. That's the fun of it.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Is not using the airbrush.
No, I love it. I need very specific maps for Middle Earth strategy battle game. Bree is different than Mordor. It is. But, I mean... Who needs a gaming table when you can have gaming carpet? There's a part of me that thinks that would be rad, and then I think about how far the floor is from where I'm standing all the time.
Yep. And then you go...
And the older I get, the harder it is to get up off the floor. You know, playing games on the floor isn't as appealing as it used to be. Sugar Rush, you got it. It's slow fuse on the 1s and 2s.
Mm-hmm.
Wiki wiki wah.
Wiki wiki wow.
If I put paint in my mouth and spit it at your mini, would that count as airbrushing? Yes. Only if you use a straw.
But don't put the paint in your mouth, please. We don't like that.
How do you stand afterwards exactly? No, you don't. You live there now. I played a game of 40K on the floor. I live there now. After 3 hours of painstakingly beating my opponent to death with the meta.
With the meta.
I am now not leaving the floor.
Jason. What's this army called? It's called the meta.
This is just the meta list. Well, it was funny because I like I said, I downloaded Magic Arena again yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, within 3 tries, remembered my username and password for that game because I was part of the beta and had only logged into it once in the last 3 years, and that was to add Ruben as a friend on my friends list, and then never opened it again. Opened up Magic Arena, remembered my password, played a bunch of games yesterday, right? And I'm a big mono red player. Mono red, mono white. Those are my decks. Every now and then mono black, but I don't usually like mono black because it's turned into more of a control deck. And so I started putting together mono red stuff and playing and getting out the starter decks that they give you for free to just play bot matches with so I could learn the cards. And started learning the cards and started putting together a deck. And by the time I was done and looked online, I was like, I should just go look up a deck list. I bet they have meta lists for Magic Arena. And I looked up a meta list for Magic Arena, and it was about 75% of the cards I had already put in my list. I was like, I am the bad guy. I am the person nobody wants to play. 100%.
Don't worry, Jason. I will play games with you.
Mike says, my dining table is permanently topped by a Mycroft game topper thing. What? That's awesome. Derpstick also, I made the base skin tone mix that Baby J used for sacrifice. It's 1 drop each of warm brown and dark warm flesh and 2 drops of transparent orange. That's awesome. Now you've got a great recipe.
It was a good skin tone recipe.
T. Schmidt says, me and the kiddo played Battletech on the floor last time. Never again. Tables only for old folks. Yep. Fuse is just casually flirting with addiction. Cardboard crack. Oh, you got to remember, I'm a big old-time Magic guy. So, I know this. But I have been having so much fun playing Commander. We made a bunch of Commander proxy decks here at the office. Like a bunch. And we've just been having fun playing Commander from time to time on weekends and such, around the office at lunch, and got a bunch of people who had never played Magic into playing Magic. It's a great game. It is by far, I think, the best game of all time. Period. Just in terms of how many people have touched Magic, played Magic, how big it's been for how long it's been that big, right? Because I think it came out like 94, 95.
93.
93?
Yeah, it pre-released in 92 and it officially released at Gen Con in 1993.
1993. Isn't that insane?
I know this because I've had somebody ask if I were younger than Magic, and I had to prove to them that I was wrong. That they were wrong. I was born like literally 2 days before they pre-released it at Gen Con.
That's crazy.
Brutal Burrito says, are you going to play Commander at Adepticon? I'll bring some decks, but they're proxy decks, so they're not fair. Because they're decks that would be like $12,000 if you actually bought the cards. Hence the reason we proxied them all. Because we were like, Commander is like the most fun format to get people into playing, but it's also the most expensive. Next to, what's the other
Legacy?
one that uses everything like Lotus and everything? Vintage. Vintage is the most expensive. Commander's fun. Playing this weekend with your D&D group annual gathering. Yeah, it's tremendous fun. It's all what we call OPBS. Commander is OPBS. Build the deck that just does the most oppressive nonsense and then play with your best friends.
Jason is very good at doing that. He's got some pretty ridiculous decks.
Don Gibson says, never played. Pre-order for the Foundation starter box is coming in November. Is it worth it to get started? I typically say the best way to get into Magic if you've never played is to buy a starter box of something. They sell pre-constructed Commander decks, of which some of them are really good. Jordan may know more about that than me. He has a pre-con Commander deck that actually plays really well.
Yeah. All of the pre-con Commander decks, I think, are genuinely a very good place to get into the game. It's a fun environment for you to learn what the game is all about without having to worry too much about, what cards you can use and that sort of thing. They're relatively inexpensive products, so you can buy them without feeling like you're breaking the bank, which cannot be said for every Magic product that exists. And it's just good fun. You can get a couple of them. You can play it with a group of friends, and you'll have a blast.
Derpstick says, hearing that Jen doesn't use an airbrush and her painting skill still looks as good as if she was using one makes me feel confident that I don't need an airbrush. I definitely don't have the space for one. And yeah, we've always said you can get fantastic blends. It will take you a little longer, but for some people like Jen, that's the catharsis of painting. Building that blend is amazing. Look at that work. It's looking great.
So fun.
Papa Chicken says kids can tolerate playing on the floor way better than adults, but that still doesn't make it comfy. No, it means that, yeah, they can tolerate being uncomfortable. Commander is fun until you notice someone is clearly playing for second place.
The trick is you establish with your group, you say, hey, look, we're not going to hold any punches. We're just going to play a bunch of games. And that's how we do it. We're just like, hey, we're just going to make some stupid OP garbage.
Oh, there's games where like by like turn 2, it's like, okay, let's re-rack them.
Yeah.
You've already got 8 million goblins.
You mean you have 8 million goblins, Jason?
I play mono red. I'm a mono red guy. It's proven by my Commander decks. I have White Weenie Commander, which nobody would play in their right mind ever. I still love it. Sip of Tyranny says, give me a deck building miniatures game and I would go broke. I remember a friend of mine finding a combination of cards in a magazine that if you got that hand, you could enter an eternal loop of dealing 1 damage and taking another turn. Yep. The Time Walk card that was probably in that is no longer legal for like Commander and other formats, but it's available in Vintage. They got rid of cards that were like had those endless loop things. There are still endless loops you can get into that go infinite, that cause infinite amounts of damage, do infinite amounts of tokens, and create the end, but it takes you longer to get them. They don't go off quite as quickly. Although, in standard format, currently, they just had to ban a card that allowed you to do that turn 2.
Yep. It wasn't an infinite combo.
It wasn't an infinite combo, but it was like, hey, I can turn this 1 red, 1/2 creature to hit you for 18 each turn. Even if you blocked it, it could trample through, survive, and then go back to being a 1/2 or a 2/3. And then on the next turn, get up to being an 18 or 19 strength creature again and trample through you again. Oh, and then, no, you didn't even have to do that. It hit you once for 15 to 18, and then you flung it.
Yeah,
Because you had that one guy that's the dual card that on the one half casts a 4/4, and on the other half does sacrifice a creature, deal as much damage as that creature dealt this turn to target opponent.
Well, there's also another creature that just sacrifices itself. to do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like, I remember when Fling was a card that people were trying to do that with, and now it's just printed on the creatures themselves.
But yeah, Don, if you haven't played, go get yourself a starter deck. Preferably if you can find people in your area that play Commander and get a Commander starter deck. It's cheaper that way. And then you've got a full deck that you can sit down and start playing and have fun with and see if you like the game. Learn the game with that deck. Commander's fun because it's a format where you have to have 100 cards and only one of each card. So you have 100 different cards, notwithstanding land. So you generally have like somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to some odd cards, individual cards, and then a bunch of land. But so there'll be a lot of learning for you because every card will be something different, which is a lot of fun. Chuck says I bought a couple of Pauper Commander decks on eBay because I kind of missed playing Magic and didn't want to spend a bunch of money. Took them to the LGS to relearn. Forgot how toxic and full of vitriol some Magic players can be. Oh, 100%. If you don't know the group, I wouldn't go play Magic. You would not find me playing Magic in social scenarios if I did not know the people I was playing with. Yeah. That Magic Arena is different because you can mute them.
Because you can mute them.
You just mute them.
I can turn this person off.
And they can't really do anything. It's a video game, you know? So you just play. Modern precons or solid starters. Yeah, paint liquor, exactly.
Yeah, they do a really good job of balancing pre-cons these days. They're very good investments from fun and like power level perspective.
Panic Bomb, if you have old cards, you should. I sold off all my old Magic cards and made an absolute fortune. I sold my Black Lotus for just over $10,000. One piece of paper. Jen couldn't believe it. She would hear me say those things. She'd say, no way. And then we found some in my storage facility. And I was like, holy cow, babe. Remember how I told you about those expensive cards I used to have? And she's like, yeah. And I showed her some cards and she goes, no way. And when I told her, and we just sold them to like Star City Games, one of the highway robbery shops, and mailed them off to them and still got like $7,000. Just for some dual lands. Some like Italian dual lands.
Crazy.
There was also a Library of Alexandria there. They got quite a bit. But
oh, yep. That'll do it. That will contribute a lot.
Don Gibson, yeah, if you're spending $26 for a Magic deck, go play, have fun. You'll learn a lot about the game. Then you can start looking at how much you want to spend on Magic. How much do you like it? Because you can spend your whole life savings on Magic. It is addictive. You know, there's a new set that comes out every quarter, and you can go nuts. I was a draft guy. I was a limited draft guy, so I didn't really ever build decks. I just went and drafted, and I got tons and tons of cards that way. I would money draft. I would draft for high-priced cards, and that would pay for my draft for months. And then I'd draft for winning. Pauper, any format is cheap because it's just common cards.
You'd be surprised. Pauper is a little bit more expensive than it used to be. Now that it's been popularized a lot of those commons and uncommons are still pretty pricey. It's not anywhere near buying like a standard or a modern deck, but
Game Delay says playing Magic will suck up all your money. That's why I got into Warhammer. I laugh in your general direction. Bud says watching Jen paint gives me something new to practice. See? Jen's bringing all this high tech, super blending.
Or is it low tech?
I would say
Might
it's
be low
high
tech.
tech. No.
Look at that blend, guys. Jen's killing it. Don't ever let her say that she is not the queen around here. Paint Liquor's like, oh my god, Time Walk.
Turns out, Time Walk's pretty
Sapo,
good.
you got a green black squirrels. I have a squirrels deck. Squirrels! So does
Philip?
Philip has the same deck. 50 million squirrels. It's just like goblins, except in a different color. Jason, if I theoretically am only willing to have one card-based miniature game, should I pre-order the new Underworlds edition, or should I wait on a theoretical product from a company you like? Totally different deal you're talking about. Underworlds may call itself a deck builder. It's not the same type of thing like we're talking about.
In fact, it's become a lot more restrictive than it used to be as well.
Yeah, it's not really. It's a miniatures game that uses cards. Magic was your gateway to art. Oh, it's amazing, right? Yeah. Yep, exactly. Real DiCaprio says, because the art that we've got right here from Donato Giancola.
It's amazing.
Same kind of stuff. You can get some really amazing artists that do work for Magic. They spend an absolute ton on art, which is nice.
That's crazy.
Paint Liquor says, I only have 16 binders of cards. I mean, sell them? Retire?
Sell them and retire.
Question mark?
Sounds like you've got a bit of a nest egg floating around there.
Oh, yeah. There's tons of older uncommons that can get into triple digits. Sure. Yeah. Force of Will?
I'm pretty sure Earthcraft is an uncommon, and that's like over $100 now, I think.
Tons. Tons.
That's not even a good card.
Punisher says, I haven't played Commander in a decade, but I don't think most decks in our group are hyper oppressive. It was a really fun way to use old cards. Oh, yeah. Casual stuff is fun. Just grab cards, put 100 in a deck, and see what works. 5 colors, who cares? Magic might be the only thing worse than Warhammer on your wallet. Again, it depends. Like I'm not saying to bootleg Magic cards, but if you were to print out a proxy deck to play with your friends, it's cheap. It's like $60 for a deck that would normally cost you like $1,000. Right? Now, you can't play that anywhere where Magic is being played by random people, but you can play it with your friends and enjoy the game. Chuck says, let me introduce you to the world of bicycles if you think Magic and Warhammer get expensive. Papa Chicken says, the best part of blending like Jen is that you never have to pause and figure out where the clog in your airbrush is.
That's true.
Roadside awesome. D-Fresh, when using a dry palette, do you make mixes on the palette or do you let the paints mix visually on the model? Both. I mix on the dry palette most of the time. And yeah, you have to continually pull paint from the 2 pools of paint into one small area to be able to do that, right? You'll see Jen. She does her mixes on her dry palette like that.
So this is orange,
magenta?
dark hot pink.
Oh, dark hot pink.
And then mixed together, dark hot pink. This one is dark magenta and dark hot pink. And then this is dark plum, transparent red, and plum.
Yeah, so as you spread it around and spread it thinner into big areas, you will notice that it dries quicker. So try to avoid moving a lot of paint that way into big splotches. Keep it in small areas like Jen was doing. And pull from your 2 drops of paint, pull to the middle of them. Keep the 2 colors you're using fairly close to one another on the dry palette. And then pull a little line of paint from each of them to mix in the middle. And so now you have a third area on your palette where the mixture is, and then you can constantly go back with a wet brush and pull from each droplet into the middle and remix it, realizing that it's never going to matter if your mix is a hair more one color than the other, unless you're using 2 starkly contrasting colors to mix. You'll be fine. Don Gibson says, perfect insight on Magic. Looking for another excuse to go to GG North Phoenix. Gamers Guild. Yeah. Jen needs to paint more for us to watch. She is impressive. Everybody's loving it, babe. Look at you.
Thanks,
Superhero
everyone.
Jen. It's so mesmerizing watching her do her blends. And then at the end, when you look at the finished product, you're like, holy crap. Because you get so used to just watching the paintbrush and watching the colors blend like she does.
Well, and they look super messy while I'm doing it. Like it's ugly when I'm doing it. So, and it takes a long time. But I'm always happy with the results.
Yeah. There's never a question which side of the screen Jen's on. She's always got the bright palette. Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, we actually took our proxy decks up to Gamers Guild and just played as a group of the Monument guys one weekend. The first weekend they were open, right? Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Don's like, go right-handers. Yeah, Jen is on your side. She is a righty. Mike says, does the new game have actual minis? Yes. You've seen us paint one. The big rhino with the railgun on his shoulder.
Was Mike here for that?
Maybe not. That might predate Mike. Babe, can you grab the rhino? It's on the bottom shelf over there.
Yep, just a second.
Sempiternity, you never know. You just never know the crazy things we're up to. We are big card game folks.
We really are.
And big miniature game folks, so you just never know. I have personally been working on a game over 10 years, and now we have actually been putting some research into it. This is one of the miniatures for it. This is from one of the 6 factions that would, if we do this, would release with the game on launch. There would be 6 factions plus a 7th faction that is not represented in miniature. And that is that is a big anthropomorphic rhinoceros with a railgun on his shoulder that is powered by solar panels on his back. So
it's pretty crazy.
you just got into Underworlds and now they're overhauling the game.
They overhauling it again?
Welcome to Games Workshop. And yes, Mike, you're supposed to enjoy these games. You're supposed to find something about them that's enjoyable. Why else are you doing this? Roadside says, I've been trying to teach myself wet blending. It's been a journey. Yeah. It's hard to get used to how to balance the amount of paint that you use based on which color you want to see more or less of in the blend. How to work quickly with acrylics. Using a retarder like our glaze wash medium or even Noosh in small amounts can help a ton with learning to wet blend. Yeah, Panic Bomb. That's the way I am. I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to do something with these miniatures? No, you're just supposed to paint them and have fun. The rest of it's just ancillary. Source says, how do you tell when Dark Sea Ben is dry? Damn satin paints. It's not that shiny. Ghost Hunter says, all hail the queen. See? This is why Jen is the Lord Commander. I'm telling you. Her hats aren't going to fit at the end of this show.
Yeah, you guys are way too generous with your flattery.
What color should I do his like loincloth wrap thing? What do you think, Jason?
I mean, from the perspective of the piece, I think dirty white.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. That was kind of where I was at with it.
Just cuz.
Yeah.
But I mean, any color could work if you chose to make it a color. You know, I could see like a plum, like a red cloth being cool too, but if you're going to have him sitting on that part of the bench that's that kind of red, probably not. Jade, sorry you've been sick. Guys will see this rhino and go, hell yeah. We're trying to make that of the 6 factions. We can't get too specific because we don't want to give up all the goods, but I will tell you this about game development and my idea of a miniatures game. If I am going to make a miniatures game or have my name tagged onto a miniatures game, I want that game to be more about the ability for you to play with the miniatures you love, no matter how and what rule set you like. So yes, our goal is to make some factions that are really intriguing and that you would love. And once you've picked the models you want, you're not locked to a particular play style. So I will give you that. Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Mike says, Jesus, Christmas sushi and a taco. I don't know what that was in response to, but that
Alrighty.
just sounded funny. Flapjack says it's me. I'm the guys. Who would like the rhino? I like the rhino. Does the rhino have a warthog, buddy? No. No, the rest of that faction are just guys and gals that are kind of like Wakanda meets Mad Max, is the way I describe them to people. We have that entire faction sculpted. We only printed out 3 of the models for that faction, I believe. Maybe only 2. Yeah, only 2 of the models for that faction. And then we have the other faction that we printed out 2 of as well. Just testing Siocast back in the day. A little over a year ago, we tested out some Siocast for those to see if that was a possibility that could speed up the production of that game. I wasn't 100% happy with it, so I don't think it's a technology we can use, but we may revisit it. The trouble is that with Siocast, you're spending about $100,000 to get a machine that allows you to print lots of minis, and those minis could all be different versus going and getting molds and such done, where once you make the molds, they only make that particular miniature, but would cost about the same amount. So that's the game we're playing right now. Game delay, yes. I'm just slipping that one in there. Jade, get well.
Feel better, Jade.
Oh, Jade. No
Chuck,
fun to be
I'm going to
sick.
need you to make Jade some chicken soup. Uh-oh. Mike says, Jen needs new hats. Noted. No, she never wears a
I don't
hat.
wear hats. I got a giant head.
What?
Jen just said she has a giant head.
That- giant head.
That is not
They don't
anything that I ever would have used to describe you, Jen.
Well, it might look normal, but when you put a hat on, you can tell it's big.
I guess I kind of
They don't
understand
fit.
that. It's sort of the same reason for me, is I feel like
Oh, I
I
love
have a huge
it.
head when I put a hat on.
Mike says the loincloth needs to be hot pink, Jordan.
Nope.
So
Sorry. Nope. Vetoed.
Roadside says it's nice to see Jen painting right-handed because everybody else is lefty. Is there that many of us? I mean, Jordan and I are for sure.
I mean, that's kind of enough, right?
Game Delay says you need to freehand Calvin Klein across the top of those undies,
Oh my god, that'd be
those
amazing.
chonies. I think that if Jordan had the testicular fortitude
Yes. Carry on.
that he would do the roasting marshmallows and the Calvin Kleins. For sure. That would make this model everything it was intended to be that the artist didn't recognize. We will fix it.
Just gotta send it to Donato afterwards. Say, hey, I just wanted to give you my vision.
Source says, would it be a
Of this
skirmish
piece.
style game? Less but more hero type models, or a war game, lots of minis? Each of our factions has an average of 7 models. To give you an idea. The way the points work is that you could technically build an army with up to 12. But I think that we've gone in at one point. I have to check with Gabe on the rules adjustments. I think at one point in time we adjusted it to where there was a max of 10 models on the table. Ghost Hunter, no, there'll be plastics of some sort, either resin or molded plastics. Oh, the taco line was your response to the rhino, Mike. Gotcha. Yeah, Siocast can look good and hold good detail, but it is hard to make multi-piece models. That's a problem. The material shrinks too much. Chuck says, look, we're both sick. Who makes me chicken spoop? He said spup. Chicken spup. And then he came back and corrected that. Jade should make you chicken soup.
You guys should make it for each other.
You should make it for each other.
Teamwork.
Yeah, Underworlds has some nice... I mean, they're the AOS minis. They're good. Chartreuse loincloth, Jordan.
Thanks. What an idea.
Thank you for the follow. plaid diaper.
Y'all missed that by a couple weeks.
Calvicus Kleinium is what you should paint on there so that it's period correct. Calvicus Kleinicus. He's not paying attention to us anymore, Chad. He's just done with us. He's good at tuning us out when we get this way, by the way.
Politely ignoring.
Game Delay says, is that average of 7 models brought down by the faction without models? No, I'm only counting the factions with models, by the way. One of the factions will only release with 4 models. Can you win the game by assassinating a leader character? No. That's not how the game works. Chuck, you need to stop mouth hugging the local gaming buddies.
Dang.
He says one of the local gaming buddies gave us both an early season flu.
Rude.
Stop hanging out with poo-fingered gamers.
True.
Yeah, there is also a robot flapjack. You can see its legs. The legs are on the base, and it glues in. It's kind of like sitting on its knees as the attent pupil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just getting the man painted first.
Pop Chicken says, speaking of period correctness, have you noticed that the old-fashioned names are making a comeback? I met a kid named Lance the other day. You don't hear that name very often, but back in the day, people named their kids Lance a lot.
That
He gotcha.
was a joke, Jason. How are you feeling after that? You feeling all right over there? Just let it wash over you. Yeah, let it just soak it in. Just stew in it for a minute. Yep. Deep breaths. 1, 2, 3. All right, carry on.
That sigh, tell the story. Was there enough story in my sigh?
He's gonna ban you.
Game Delay says it's a love game, Ghost Hunter, not a war game. Yeah, we don't make war games here. We make love games. Wait a second. That sounds different when you say it out loud.
Jason, where is the cattail? Why are you asking Jason? He wasn't even here for that.
I was here the day you guys went out and dug around in the parking lot for it.
Never mind, you were here for that. I stand corrected.
Flapjack says, I just meant that I don't think they had robots when people were speaking Latin. You don't know. You don't know.
I feel like we can be relatively confident that that was not the case.
This is Earth 547.
Yep.
Where all of the technology that was used to build the pyramids did not get wiped out by a flood.
Okay. Uh-huh. Carry on.
Nope. He still hasn't fixed that cattail. He needs some epoxy putty. Make love, not war games. We need a bumper sticker. YouTube chat cut off the punchline. I was trying to figure out if Lance really was a common name before. Did you have to click the read more part? It had it all here. But back in the day, they used to name their kids Lance a lot. But the bug is ripping through Wisconsin nerds right now. 2 couples have petri dishes. I mean, kids. I love that you call them petri dishes. That's what they are. Poofinger kids. Did you just jump multiverses? I thought we were on Earth 674. Well, we are, but this is telling the story of Earth 572. Roadside says, I'm getting ready to start a Dwarf Guild's army project for one-page rules. The army is stealth, scout, and ambush heavy, so naturally the color scheme I'm deciding to go in this road construction. like bright orange and yellow striped
Nobody pays attention
dwarves.
to it anyways.
Definitely screams stealth. I love it. Flapjack, you should make a "Make Love Not War Game" sticker. You'll be a 100 air. Jordan needs a new Smaug to have the bits to fit the cat's tail. No, he doesn't. You insane man. No. Yeah, roadside, the bright oranges and yellows. Yeah, it's like hazard orange, hazard yellow. Scream stealth. I think it's stealthy in the other way. It's stealthy in the hide in plain sight way, right? Like if you wanted to like do something dastardly, the best way to do it is to dress up like a road crew. Get like a jackhammer and start just jackhammering up the street. You just need some barrier signs and a truck that looks official. Nobody would say anything to you. You could jackhammer under the bank, right? And no one would ever question it. You just have a crew out there. Papa Chicken, are there any plans for a seal of approval sticker? Ask Gabe. Gabe holds the keys to the castle with regards to all that stuff.
I think yes.
We have more good ideas than we can shake a stick at. And only one Gabe. Wait, we got cattails here in your swamp. Should I spray some with hairspray and send them to World HQ? Yes. I would love for Jordan to just receive a cattail in the mail.
Please, hopefully not. I happen to really like cats. I don't want to receive a real cattail.
Iterator says, it depends on what planet you're fighting on. If these dwarves are fighting on a bright-colored planet, they might be stealthy. His Smaug was not stolen, missing pieces. Pieces are all in the box.
Well, technically, some of them are on my desk.
Some of them are on his desk.
But
Simper Turney says, step 1, steal an official-looking truck. Got it. What was step 2 again? Wait, are you taking notes? I will not be held accountable for any of this. I cannot be seen as an accomplice in this story. Simper Turney. My child informed me that 40k orcs think purple is the sneakiest color. Yes, they do. So your kill team is getting a purple colored scheme. Yeah, purple is the color of stealth for orcs. And when everybody goes, no, it's not. No, that's never been a thing. You go, exactly. You've never seen a purple orc, have you? Sneaky bastages. Tech Elf, what's happening? Gabe's whiteboard only has so much space. It now has a lot more space because he moved it into the digital realm. He informed us of that last week.
Technically now has unlimited space.
He has unlimited whiteboard space.
Gabe did that to himself.
Yes, he did that to himself. That was not even told to him to make happen. That was just a Gabe making it happen thing.
He's just like,
I don't think he thought this through.
No, he did not.
Mike says Jordan needs a real cattail. Noted.
Please, no.
Box on porch tomorrow. Simpertunity says step 3, profit. Wait a minute. What was step 2? We had step 1, get truck. Step 3, profit. I feel like you need the whole list. I feel like we're missing some important part of this. Stole truck, not rich yet. Must return notes. Yeah, if Rogue Hobbies creates a planet, then the yellow emergency dwarves will be stealthy. Did you see Louise's Gundam?
No.
She killed it.
Painted a Gundam?
Yeah, she did a Gundam. It looks really, really good.
I still want to paint a freaking Gundam. That sounds like such a good time.
Yep, Flapjack Red makes things go faster. It is science. Orc science, best science. If they believe it works. Jason is Kaiser Soze for this heist. No. No. Still one of the best movies of all time, by the way.
What movie?
Usual Suspects.
Huh?
Usual Suspects.
Yeah, The Usual Suspects. I never can remember the name. Kaiser Soze.
somebody referenced him in a TV show. That I
Black
was
Sword,
watching
what's
the other
going
day.
on?
What'd you say?
Somebody referenced that character in a show that I was watching over the weekend.
Oh.
Oh,
Really?
Automaton.
Yeah.
Unlimited soup,
Did you
salad,
get-
and
did you know it?
breadstick
Do you know
sounds
that movie?
so
No, okay.
good right now.
What?
Unlimited soup, salad, and breadstick sounds so good right now.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. I mean, soup, salad, breadsticks is not bad.
The Pop Chicken says today in Painting with Spite, I have to paint some mechs in camo when I wanted fun colors. Found out that cobalt turns blue-purple when oxidized, making a blue-purple diorama so I can paint fun color camo. All right. All right. So they're on like a cobalt world. Yeah, Panic Bomb says, what's stopping you, Jordan? Just paint a Gundam. Jeez.
Not like there are other projects that exist in the universe. Like this one.
There's actually like an unpainted Zaku someplace in this building that's already built.
There's one that I built
Yep.
somewhere is that the one you're talking about?
No.
Oh.
She's got one of the little fun ones that's like a...
You have the nice one that you started painting.
Yeah, the
Exia?
Gundam
No, it's not Exia.
Unicorn. No, it's a Exia.
No, Exia's from 00. You have the one
It's
from...
Exia 00 that's blown up. That's exactly
Is it?
what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's the
I thought
Exia
it was-
00, but it's the one that's been in the fight and lost an arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And has a cloak over its arm because
Yeah.
Gundams have clothes now.
Yeah.
Hey, I watched the Netflix Gundam series. It's really good.
Which one?
The new one.
Oh, the one with the new animation? and stuff?
CGI animation.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Really good.
Are you much of a Gundam person?
No.
No.
They always lose me about an episode in when I stop caring about the same story being told 15 different times.
Yeah. I really liked...
Yeah, you could paint 40K Gundam. It's called Tau.
It's called Tau. I've done that. I've painted plenty of Tau. Not interested in painting anymore.
Game Delay says, I just agreed to take my 11-year-old child and her friends shopping in an hour. I think I need a mental health check. Blink twice if you need help, Game Delay. Black Sword says, doing good, thanks. Just past 9:30 a.m. here. What? 9:30 a.m.? Where is it 9:30 a.m.?
Australia?
Yeah, like Australia? Got a new decal sheet printed and now applying decals to your Terminator Ancient for your custom chapter. Awesome. I love it.
Not enough people do custom chapters anymore. It's always cool when I see people do it.
You have tacos downstairs and you're still not... Oh, you're still stuffed from lunch. I see what you're saying. Leaf painting. What's going on, Thomas? You kind of wanted to do some AdMech models because I think they look kind of neat. Same with Skaven. Yeah. The automatons for AdMech can be really cool. The 30K stuff. The 40K stuff, not so much, but the 30K stuff is great. Nice, Black Sword. Very cool. That's dedication. It's 3:30. Technically 3:33.
Time's flying.
No, do not buy Jordan a Titan. We have a Warhound here that hasn't been put together.
Why is somebody talking
That we
about
said that
buying
Jordan
a
was
Titan?
going to have to paint in plaid. That
Oh,
was the whole
God.
thing with the Warhound.
Oh god.
We have a Warhound, and then we have an epic scale Imperator. The Warhound has about 50 pieces. The Imperator has 220.
When am I on the hook for that one, Jason?
I want to paint the Imperator, but holy cow, dude.
When am I on
220
the
resin
hook to
pieces?
put it together for Jason.
That's a
to paint?
lot. That's a lot. Yeah, it's nuts, Gosu. It's still in the same box in the same place on the floor. Do not buy Jordan a Titan, Mike.
God, don't do
Donate
that,
the
Mike.
money to science. We don't need a Titan.
No, we do not.
Well, automaton is fueled by Taco Bell. Leaf, we've been great. How about you, man? Jen is painting our Nova Open Salamander texture trainer right now. She's doing a beautiful job getting her blends set up for the belly scales on that one. While Jordan is painting Prometheus from Mindwork Miniatures, both models you can buy on our site, as a matter of fact, and doing an absolute bang up job on the skin on him. What's your plan for the robot? Silver this time around?
Yeah,
Very cool.
Silver instead.
Yeah,
of
I think silver would play really well into this.
Yeah, it keeps everything still feeling kind of cool. It'll have some gold accents on it, or I might do copper instead. Would be kind of cool as like a change.
Black Sword, yeah, drop a link in the Discord. Tag me if you want me to see it. Roadside Manager says, part of me wants to paint a Titan, and the rest of me is screaming, don't do the dumb. Yes. It's just more plastic to paint. The finished product can look really cool. The biggest Titan I would ever recommend people painting is a Warhound. Beyond that, it just gets to be repetitive nonsense. But if you're not like me and you do like painting enormous models, then the Warlord Titan is spectacular. The Reavers, I'm not a fan of their build, right? They don't, like at epic scale, the Reaver is amazing. Like Titanicus, I love the Reaver model. But once it gets into like 40K scale, it's just not the model to spend your money on. If you're going to go that far, just go ahead and get a Warlord. Because the Warlord has the bulk and feels like what it's supposed to be. The Reaver, for some reason, just doesn't fit the same design keys as everything else. Yeah, the Warhounds are cool. Yeah, it's pretty dang cool without having acres of real estate, Leaf. Exactly. That's why I like the Warhounds. They've got that big back carapace that gives you some area to do some really cool freehand if you want to and all that stuff. But the rest of it is pretty much just like painting undercarriage tank stuff. You know, I guess the leg plates give you some more armor to mess around with, which is cool. No, Mike, I didn't. I can see the frame. It's still sitting over there.
That thing is so ridiculous.
Yeah, you can put a Warhound on a base as well. On the other ones, you got to make a base per foot. Now, I have seen some people make some pretty spectacular Imperator 40K scale models that are amazing, like just flat out amazing, that are like 6 feet tall. I still would never want to paint it, but they're really bitching. I mean, can you imagine? That's painting a 1/1 scale human.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yep.
I don't have time for that.
Yep.
I can barely finish 75mm models.
Fair.
And those are twice as big as the regular models. Yeah, tag Slow Fuse, Black Sword. That's me. Oh, Mike, I was talking about a Warlord Titan, not for 40K. You mean for Adeptus Titanicus, the small ones? They still make some. GW makes, what's the other one called? The War Master.
Oh, yeah, the War Master?
The War Master Titan's a little bit bigger than a Warlord.
I have Warlords built. I have.
Yeah, he has a bunch of Warlords built. I have a whole army of that stuff, and I have a half-built War Master Titan someplace.
Yeah, I have a whole Titanicus army done. I don't have a War Master, but I do have 2 Warlords. It's actually one of the most lore thematic things that I've ever done as far as army projects is concerned.
Your Titanicus stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all I did, was it Legio Krytos? And they're all about, like, siege warfare.
Yeah.
So I got a Quake Cannon for each of the...
They're like green and white?
Yeah. They're like quartered green and white,
yeah.
or like halvesies green and white.
They're bad guys.
And... yeah, so I have the Quake cannons for each one, and then I have them with the big, like, Apocalypse missile launchers on the tops. And I have a Nemesis, which also has a Quake cannon on, so I'm just like, Mrr. Quake cannons.
Ghost Hunter, yes, you would need a DA 100 to paint the biggest model. 100%. Roadside says, I heard the best description for Dark Angels ever the other day when I was watching a painting tutorial. Why do I feel like this is going to make me cry? The guy said, we're going to paint this one as a salamander, but this green could also work for those traders with the Sleeping Beauty Primarch.
funny because it's not technically wrong.
Game Delay says I could start doing the monthly challenges. That would help you finish models. What?
Game Delay, you've been doing them for a while.
Don't put that on me.
Oh, he was telling you to do it. Oh, no.
Don't put that on me.
Look, we get enough of a workout just going through them at the end of the month, all right? It's hard enough for us to do that.
Rattle can.
Painting up
what
amazing
liver
things.
spot? Mars pattern warlord. Lucius pattern warlord. Best pattern. Or even better is the original Beetleback style Titans from the original Space Marine. Oh, for painting a full-size human, I gotta paint the liver spots. I gotta paint the freckles. I'm not interested in painting any model that's over, I don't know. Right now, I would say over 4 inches tall. How big is that Timberwolf over there? I think that sits.
It's about 4 inches tall.
We finally got the BattleTech Mercenaries Kickstarter in at the shop, and I got that 75 millimeter Timberwolf Mad Cat that I want to paint. That may be my next project. We'll see.
Looks rad.
We'll see. I did, Mike asked about if I got a wild hair to start thinking about something for Golden Demon again, and I did pick up the Kroot models that are on the
Ragers,
Kroot
Ravagers, Ragers,
whatever they are on their cavalry.
Yep.
That are some neat models, and I would kind of like to maybe take a stab at doing one of those really, really nicely. So we'll see. Belle LaFleur, what is going on? Brannigan's brushes.
Brannigan's
with a raid. Hello,
What
Brannigan.
up?
What's going on? Welcome, Raiders. What is happening? There's the alert.
How on earth are you doing over there?
How we doing? How's the show, Brannigan? Good to see you. Penny Bomb says, can't wait for that Mad Cat. Hopefully by Thanksgiving your stuff will get in. Yeah, it just showed up last week for us here. Opened it all up, put all the toys on the desk.
And then promptly threw them.
promptly threw them back in the box. Not going to touch these things for years. So horrible. So horrible. So horrible.
What is it with everyone being all sick?
Game Delay says, painting a full-size human was such a pain. Mrs.
good.
Delay and I just started making them from scratch instead with the color built. Oh, but then you got to wait for them to get to be human-sized. And they poop their pants and are petri dishes. Brannigan says, hey, peeps, going good. Just doing a bit of batch painting Oryx tonight for Age of Sigmar. Nice. Brandy's sick. He's a poor boy. What? Yeah, I love what Jordan said. Stop getting sick.
Yep. No more poo-fingered kids for y'alls.
Yeah, stop hanging out with poo-fingered kids.
Mm-hmm.
We were just joking about that earlier because a lot of people in chat were saying they were feeling under the weather. I was like, stop hanging out with poo-fingered kids. Only hang out with people that wash their hands regularly. Your whole life gets better. We are doing great, Brannigan. Thanks for asking. Jen is painting her salamander texture trainer. Killing it. The queen of blends over here.
Where on earth did the head for this thing go?
Mike says, what are you going to end up doing with the Lancer Titan you had partially assembled for the frame? It's not a Lancer. It's the one with the big mega bolter on it. Or whatever. Elastis mega heavy bolter thing or whatever. I don't know. I still like the idea. I just don't see myself getting that done for Adepticon timeframe. Who knows? It might catch me again. You've noticed, if you've been here for long enough, that I go through these big swings where I'm like really excited to do a thing, but if it takes a long time to reach a point where it feels like progress is really good, then I typically lose my interest in it. That's why I'm thinking maybe I grab one of those Tau guys and just treat it as like a single figure.
Should.
For entry.
Yeah, it would be cool.
And just paint the hell out of one of those. Spend a month painting one Tau Kroot on a mount. The models are really cool. So, and that is a Jen painting, Brannigan. It is. She's killing it. She's the best painter in the building. Low key. Sits over here in the producer's chair all the time, just grinning at y'all's bad jokes. Watching us saying, "Ooh, that looks so good, Jordan." When in the back of her mind, she's like,
I could do that.
"Amateur." These amateurs. So let me tell you a secret about Jen. Jen is ultimately very lazy. And so the reason why she doesn't like to show you guys how well she can paint is because she knows then she has to answer a bunch of painting questions, and she likes to just sit and play dumb.
That's true.
So now you know the secret.
Giving away all my secret.
What did we hire this Jordan guy for anyways? He's the one who's supposed to answer.
Flapjack, yes. The Kroot models are super sick. They have done a really, really good job with them. If I were going to play 40K, I would play Kroot. It's the only army that really makes me feel like it has the variation I need and could look really bitchin' on the table.
Well, there's a lot of cool, like...
Pop Chicken says, bad jokes. I resemble that statement. You do resemble that statement. And you knew exactly what I was talking about. Ghost Hunter, in Florida, we only have hurricane season and snowbird season. None of them are a reason to get sick. We only have summer and snowbird season.
Yeah.
So we feel your pain. You guys keep saying poo-fingered kids like it's a bad thing. Game Delay saying, and I will now be talking with my kids about hand washing even though I don't think I need to. Well, that's it. Poo-fingered kids lead to 90% of the sickness in the world. Facts. You may be like, well, there weren't even kids around. I bet there were 10 minutes before you touched that doorknob.
True.
Jordan, are you cleaning up your workstation or something? The amount of movement startled me.
Yeah, I was trying to find so I wanted to make sure I had all the pieces for the robot, because I'm kind of like getting to the point where I'm ready to make sure that all my
oh, that's right, one of the full legs is on the ground,
right?
So you just have one thigh and then the hip connects to the other part.
Yep.
On the torso, right?
Because the torso sits like this. Yeah.
Yeah, because then she's got like one hand laid back.
Yep. And I just want to make sure that I have all the...
Froggy says, can I give you all my Kroot at Adepticon then? Why, you don't like them? I don't want them all, no.
I mean,
they have some really neat models, though. I will never paint a whole army for 40K. I can just tell you that already.
Much too...
We just need to train an AI bot to answer questions automatically for Jen. We could actually have AI video over here of like a mouth moving.
Yeah.
Like talking. While Chat GPT does all the actual writing.
Yeah, and then I just close my eyes.
Technically, that's what's happening right now. I'm just an AI representation of Jason.
Get the feeling that
Game Delay says Jen's always watching Jordan and Jason paint thinking, you know there's more colors than brown, right? I resent that remark. My last model had a lot of blue in it.
Yeah.
He's like on the shelf right to your right. Maybe down. Still on a holder. Look at that. Look at all that color.
That's way brighter than mine.
Look at all that color. Sheesh.
There's all kinds of color over
disrespectful people.
here. There's a purple thing.
There is a big purple thing.
Oh, and And then, of course, I mean, okay, this is like how I would have painted this. So, he copied me.
He copied me. That Jason guy, he's just copying all of my ideas.
You just want to play Kroot and Vespid. The new Vespid models are bitching, too. Mike says, Jordan, of course you don't have all the pieces. It's you.
What?
He says your model can't possibly have all the pieces because it's you.
I don't understand this. I don't understand what's going on here.
Froggy, I taught 2 classes at both TwitchCon and have a ton left over. Oh, did they? Oh, they sent you Kroot? Oh my God, I heard about this.
Wait, heard about what?
I heard that GW was using like Kroot Shaper, or the Kroot Warrior models for like paint and take.
Oh, what an interesting model to do for a paint and take. I mean, it's fine, I suppose.
Source says we're all living in a simulation anyway. Correct. Very high percentage rate. And that we are not the baseline simulation. How far down the simulation rabbit hole are we? I love those talks. Random says, I will never paint a fully 40 army for 40K. He says, your butt's sitting there beginning to paint 7,000 points of Necrons to a battle-ready standard. Holy crap, dude. That's
you got this.
That's superhero work. Shark, happy National Chocolate Day. Back at you. I'm gonna need some chocolate. We have M&Ms.
Yeah.
We have dark chocolate peanut M&Ms at home to celebrate
to
Happy National Chocolate Day. Well, but Happy National Chocolate Day feels like Chocolate Cake Day.
Or
we need chocolate cake.
Jason,
what?
You could go to the stand and
Monday.
get a chocolate milkshake. Ah, dang it, they're closed.
Yep, they're closed.
Okay.
They're closed. We could get Mod Pizza and get those chocolate cakes. They have the homemade ding dongs.
Oh, Mod Pizza, yeah, so good.
Huh?
Those are so good.
I don't think I've ever had one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
They're called the No Name Cake. It's really good.
Heine is sitting on Shelby's desk. No, he's right up there. She never took him. She's afraid.
She's afraid.
She's afraid.
Oh, yeah.
Game Delay says, look, Jason, I forget to paint with green. You paint like warm colors are the relative you didn't want to invite to Thanksgiving dinner. There's no shame in this. I paint with lots of warm colors. What are you talking about? My blood angels are red. Doesn't get any more warm than that. I use yellow on every model. Just not in the way you think. Heine.
I love this one.
I love that you named it Heine.
So good.
You got gold tooth. That was a fun model. Shark says, Jen, you sent me an email about providing a review for Monument Hobbies. Should I include a picture of the huge mega box of paints that you sent me? Did Jen send you an email? Is Jen soliciting reviews now?
Did it come from my name?
Or did it come from, like, support?
It probably came from like Team Monument or something. But there is a place
you can
for
include pictures or anything you want if you wish.
Include something
we do not
painted with the paint.
Our automatic system, a couple of weeks or so after you order something, will fire off an email saying, hey, we hope you like what you did. Please leave us a review. It keeps us alive. It's the lifeblood of the community. Good reviews help sustain us. So if you got one, do it however you like, but no pressure. Black Sword going to take some Oreos, smash them up in a mug, add a bit of milk, put them in the microwave to make some instant chocolate cake. I've seen this on the Tic Tacs.
I've seen so many, like, here's how to make like a personal size serving of some delicious treat. And it always looks easy. Like, in very...
They do mash it up.
One.
They mash up Oreos. They pour in some milk. I thought they put something else in there, too.
I saw one yesterday
Like an
that
egg.
was melted chocolate chips, a little bit of salt, like a pinch of salt, and an egg. Mix it all up and pour it into like muffin pans, and it makes chocolate muffins, which is chocolate chips and an egg.
Maybe
It's
that's
like,
it.
I don't know. Maybe it's scrambled chocolate eggs. Chocolate scrambled eggs.
Chuck says, speaking of cakes, Christmas baking starts this weekend. You better be well
Ooh, yeah.
before you start baking.
No
Pooh
baking
finger
if you're
Chuck.
sick.
Pooh finger Chuck and Jade
Pooh finger Chuck and Jade.
need to not touch the baking pans. Well, Roadside Manager says, was that a roided out Care Bear? Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes. What was that from? Do we remember?
Yeah, it's from one of the what's it called?
Massive Darkness?
Massive Darkness. That's exactly what it's from.
I feel like it's a Massive Darkness thing.
It is a Massive Darkness thing.
And I painted it like a pink Care Bear for Shelby. Everybody was asking me to paint pink. There's Shelby right there. My office is in too much disarray to put him on my desk. There's Schlebby right there.
We're going to be doing some rearranging, moving around. And we'll have homes for a lot of these, I think.
Thank you, Shark, and welcome. Reviews are a lifeblood, but no pressure. Man, that seems super passive-aggressive. That's not what passive-aggressive means. Thank you for the follow. No, I was like, I don't ever like to... Jen and I are birds of a feather on this one, and as most of the people are at the company. We don't like to feel like anybody has to do anything they don't want to do.
Okay, no, if you...
We don't
Well-
go like, you know what you need to go write a review right now.
We do need...
Hit that follow button.
We do need,
You know,
we do
hang
need-
out and have fun. We're here to have fun.
We do need people to work, though.
Chuck says I'll be fine, not sending
Don't worry,
typhoid
Jen, I'm not
cookies
going
out.
anywhere.
I mean...
I promise.
Typhoid cookies. Typhoid baked goods. I got those cookies from Chuck. Today's my last day. This is the big one.
All right. I'm going to go...
Is it that time already?
Yeah.
It's 3:57.
Check the door, say goodbye to everyone.
Oh, my goodness.
Since we have someone in my spot, I'm going to leave him there.
Do I have to type the
Probably not
things?
going to come back.
Jason
Do I have to
gets
type the things?
Yeah, Jen's
So
like,
bye,
I'm out,
everyone. I'll
bye.
see you tomorrow.
I feel like I got the short end of this stick.
Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Tech Elf says, can't wait to see Baby J paint that marshmallow on the end of that stick. It needs to be the real deal. He's not... Okay, so here's the deal, Jordan.
Uh-huh.
You have a choice in this model.
Do I?
You can... Absolutely not. But it is kind of a choice. It's kind of a bad and worse choice.
Okay.
So the bad choice is you have to finish the deal with the marshmallow, and that is the theme, right?
Okay.
The worst choice is you do it the way you want to do it, and I'll make the marshmallow and finish it for you.
Oh, how does that... First off, how's that worse?
So one way or another, this model is going to have this guy
I
roasting a
see.
marshmallow.
You're just saying either way it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You get to do it or I get to do
Right.
it.
Either you do it or I do it.
You know what? I'm going to make you do it.
Okay.
I'm going to have this model done and it's going to look gorgeous. And then it's going to be one of those like, Jason's just be like, now I have to do this to the thing.
Oh, there will be none of that sighing stuff going on. I will be like, today, chat, we're going to make a marshmallow and paint Calvinicus Kleinicus on this man's underwear. You have a choice. Just none of the ones you want. Exactly, deadbeat. That's the way it works around here. Schlebby does not need 2 new offices or mini minis. She has to finish her first ever mini before she can get any more.
Yeah, Schlebby.
Source, yeah, transparent paints, super pigment rich. We say it all the time. Thin the crap out of them. They are super colored, intensely colored. Recently, every time I find a recipe online, it doesn't take 3 days and a lifestyle change. I immediately dismiss it as no good. By lifestyle change, do you mean you have to like start dancing in a mirror for Tic Tac?
For Tic Tac?
Damn kids and their Tic Tac.
I love that you call it Tic Tac.
Typhoid Merry Christmas, Chuck. Typhoid Merry Christmas. Black Sword, thank you for hanging out. I will take a look at it. So on the subject of paint, says Roadside, once we have the funds, we're going to be getting that 69 color thing on the site. That 69 color thing? You mean the mega set? It's so good. Will the marshmallow be on fire? Of course. Or at least blistered. Like have a little bit of black crustiness on it. Right? Like be bubbling on the side next to the fire. I do not need a real bag of mini I do not like marshmallows. Like the quickest way to send me to prison is to serve me hot chocolate with marshmallows in it.
Yeah, that sounds like something that you would not be pleased with.
I will drop a body. Oh, it's about Tech Elf. You didn't know? Yeah, it was supposed to be. We had him put it on there to be a marshmallow because we really feel like this looks like, because you see that sort of semicircle in front of him. That's the fire pit, and he's roasting a marshmallow over the fire pit, and while he's sitting there, and it's Prometheus. He's delivering fire to the robots.
Okay, you know what, Jason? I'm actually gonna make this.
It's what it should be.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the fire. And I'm going to do the glow. I'm going to do it on his feet.
This is like the idiots doing Rings of Power saying they can do it better than Tolkien. We know what this was actually supposed to be. He was supposed to be roasting a marshmallow. As a matter of fact, when we get done, this model's now called Rings of Power. And nobody will get it except chat. We can enable Schlebby to have a huge backlog of minis before she ever finishes one. No. We are not trying to wreck her hopes and dreams of miniature hobbying. You with a Tic Tac is about as bad as you with the Tweety Bird app. Oh, you and your damn Tweety Birds. I've never said that, but that's fun to say too. The damn kids and their Tic Tac. I just feel like I'm a walking dichotomy, because when people see me, I don't think they think of like just the crotchety old man. I'm really, because I'm like fully sleeved, tattooed, knuckles, hands, the whole nine. So I'm like, I wonder if that guy. I don't think people know what to think. But at heart, I am just the grouchy old man. I am get off my lawn, right?
I am get off my lawn. Gabe says, I'll return the marshmallows then. What, did you buy a bunch of marshmallows, Gabe? You should know better. Mister, you don't even like chocolate on National Chocolate Day? It's true.
How's that even possible?
It's Gabe.
I love how Jen just calmly sets her mini down and walks away.
Yep, she's like, I'm out.
Like sitting it there looking like that isn't just like gloating over that paint job. That orange glow. She does wonders with orange and pink. It's like her two favorite colors. Deadbeat says, I only really have marshmallows around campfires. Yeah, I'm just not a marshmallow fan. I don't know why. That's why I've never liked s'mores. I'll take the chocolate thing before they cook the s'more, and I'll eat the Hershey's. Because graham crackers, chocolate, and a marshmallow, it's just a little rough. It's a little rough. It's like the dessert you give to somebody you kind of like, but you're not really sure yet. Somebody hands me a s'more, and I'm like, nah, I'd rather have the dessert that you give to people you like.
Yeah, can I get the good one?
Can I do the dessert you give to the people that are higher on your list?
I'd like to just have the good one. Can I get the good one? Like, no, you can't. Can't have the good one.
He's very lucky to get marshmallows while he's chained up. Yeah, that's the only part you don't really realize about this guy, is that he's a prisoner. The robots have held him captive. Teach us your ways, or it gets the hose. Oh, Mike, but you see, if you give Schlebby all your minis to increase her backlog, you are technically falsely reducing your own backlog. We see the method to your madness.
Oh my gosh.
And we of the Hive do not approve.
Can you imagine if Mike were to send Shelby all of the minis that Mike owns? Just
No.
what would happen to her brain?
No.
Her brain would just explode.
No, you better have her home address, because if those show up here, I'm just putting them directly into file 69 in the backyard. Deadbeat says I just refused to spell TikTok wrong. Tic Tac. Bye, babe. It's the damn kids in their Tic Tac.
All right.
Ghost Hunter Witch. Both of them are great. Jordan's killing it on that flesh. And Jen's doing her usual magic over there. You use that battle cry with your Space Wolves, like instead of declaring charge, I just yell, get off my lawn. Exactly. That's the way to do it. Get off my lawn for the Emperor. Jordan, did you know that the marshmallow is a sprue? What?
It's what?
Huh?
Oh,
What?
hello?
Gabe, you're not making sense. It's blue tack. It's a part of his sentence. He somehow got the judge to allow marshmallows. Might have had Saul Goodman as his lawyer.
Jason, part of me needs to convince you to at least watch a little bit of chaos, because it is pretty amazing to watch Jeff Goldblum as
I got to be honest with you. I don't want to, because I think I might like it.
yeah,
And then it doesn't have a second season, so I'd be
Yeah.
really bummed out. That's the only reason I haven't started watching it, because I know they canceled it already.
I hope that they get an outcry from the community
For the Emperor's lawn.
and they decide to carry it on. Because I'm going to be honest, there are worse shows that have gotten carried on that just...
It depends on what you consider worse, right? I think that right now, like we talk about a lot, I think that a lot of, it's hard as a guy that has very specific likes and dislikes, like many of us do.
Mm-hmm.
And my likes and dislikes are things that are more cerebral and thought-provoking for me. And a lot of entertainment today is flash in the pan, instantaneous, what I used to call like MTV, in that it's like serialized and then it's gone, forgettable. But that's what's getting so much watching, that's what is good content.
Yeah.
And so it's tough. So get off my lawn for the Emperor's lawn. A ghost who says, hey, Jordan, is there a date for the review of the October challenge entries? Election day.
That's so funny.
We can't do it on election day because we're leaving early.
Is November 1st election day?
No, November 5th.
Are we also leaving early on the 5th?
On the 5th. Yeah, we're letting everybody off. We're closing the shop an hour early just to make sure everybody has time to vote.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Because the polls go till 7.
Yeah.
But we figured by letting everybody out that, and if you vote ahead of time, that's fine. You get an extra hour. Black Sword, serious painting question. Hit us, man.
Yeah, hit it. Bye. Hey,
Bye,
Gabe.
Jabe.
Bye. Hey, Gabe.
What are you doing tonight?
I don't know. Getting a haircut. I don't know. Okay.
Tell him to make it sexy. Gabe's getting a haircut tonight, guys.
I will.
Walk in and just sit down, and when they say, what are we doing? You say, making it sexy. Just do that.
Great. I will.
That's what I do.
Stay beautiful.
Thank you. What? Did you have something in mind?
No? I mean, I'll probably be smoking fools in magic.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
New hair, who dis? Bye, Gabe.
New hair, who dis?
All right. Shall we wind this down for the evening, Jason?
Well, Blacksword said he had a serious painting question. I'm waiting.
I'm sorry. We interrupted you.
So I'm
Please
waiting.
Tell us what your question is. I
Bruno
would like to
Burrito
make sure
says,
it gets
gown, much do you guys thin your paints when airbrushing? I've been doing 1-1 mix of paint and thinner. That's good.
Yep.
50-50 is a good place to start for airbrush. It usually is going to be a little thinner than I like to paint, but that doesn't matter. It's your intention, right? So when you hear from somebody how they mix their airbrush paints, you have to really pay attention to how they're using that paint when they spray, because there's no right or wrong. 50-50 might give you lower opacity than you like on some colors, and so when you're spraying those colors, you might have to do a couple of passes. So just watch how it builds up. But I'm on the side of err on the side of caution when mixing and airbrushing. If you thin it more, you can always layer more layers to get the color you want. Whereas if you don't thin enough and you spray it, you're done. You can't make it less paint on the model once the paint is on the model. So, 50-50 is what I tell people when I'm helping them out, learning airbrushing or using our paints for the first time. That's a good place to start. Jordan and I don't thin our paints much at all for base coats. I don't put any thinner in our paints at all for base coats. And then only when I start layering up midtones, and highlights, will I start to thin.
And even then, we typically use water when we thin.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just paint and water. Good old tap water.
You all right over there, Jason?
I'm choking. Black Sword says, I find the paints I'm using on my Space Marines, Gray Seer, and as with my chapter, I paint half of the Marines using black, but find that the black rubs off with the slightest of touch. How does the Monument Black go over Gray Seer spray? So, what black are you using right now? Because I'm just going to be really honest with you guys, and we've said this before, the spray cans that you get in the hobby are generally really crappy. Abaddon Black from Citadel. Yeah, I mean, it's good paint. So the spray paint primer is your problem. They call it a matte primer, but it's not matte, number one. It's satin. And as it settles in the can, it starts to fall out of suspension just like any paint will. And when you shake it up, it doesn't mix back together as well. And when you spray it on, you kind of a waxy surface. It may not feel that way physically, but to the paint, it becomes more and more waxy. And when you put paint on it, it doesn't adhere as well. You need matte paint. We got a comment from a customer who bought our new black spray paint saying that it was so matte it looked dusty and he didn't like it. And trying to tell people that you want that in your primer is crucial. You want your primer to be so matte it looks dusty. It's not dusty because that gives it so much tooth that your next paint, no matter how thin you put it on, is going to grab like a beast, and it's going to give you the perfect setting for painting models. So that's why our black primer is matte to the point where it almost looks dusty. Because the primer isn't supposed to be something that looks good, right? If you're using primer as a color on your model, you want it to look good, and those colors are not quite as matte. Like the white that we have is not quite as matte as the black, because you're probably using that to brighten up and use contrast and speed paint and glazes on, and so we want it to flow a little bit better. So it's less matte, has a little bit less tooth, but the black is damn black and matte, right? We do have a gray primer, yep. We have a gray spray primer. But that was hard for me to say for some reason.
Hi, Christopher.
Tomorrow?
Yep.
Chris, don't go changing, baby. Stay sexy. All right.
Just your clothes.
He said he's going to stay sexy just for me. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah. Gray Seer is one of the more satin primers, yep. I think that, and I don't know this for certain, but I believe when contrast paints came out, they had to redo the entire spray primer line at Citadel in order to make sure that the contrast paints worked the way they wanted them to, because they needed them to be more satin, more waxy for the paint to flow over the top, and to not, if you have a tremendously matte paint and you try to put contrast paints or speed paints on it, they will start to look like they're spotty, right? Because the matte primer will grab the pigment in that wash is really all those paints are by any other name, but it will start to grab pigment and pigment won't flow as easily over the surface. You've heard people say, hey, you want to gloss coat your models before you do an all over wash, and that works great because it makes the surface more slick, the pigment can slide along it easier, the filter is much cleaner. As soon as you start getting a matte like our paints and you want to do an all over wash, it's going to have more of an effect. It's going to darken the whole model more. And with the speed paints, it's not. Now, like I said, I don't know that that's a thing that was done actively, but I believe that their spray primers changed formulation when the contrast style paints came out. because they don't work as well on matte finish primers. And that caused a lot of problems for stuff like our paint, because people buy lots of Chaos Black, and they use Chaos Black, and it's really a satin paint, and now our paints don't like satin, right? Our paints need a lot of tooth to really grab the model, and you want that. And you're seeing the same thing with the Abaddon Black. I didn't tell him to do that, Mike, so that's not happening.
What?
Mike said, go into Jordan's office and get the rest of the Smaug pieces.
Nope.
No, we have a gray primer that's in a rattle can. Okay, you see that. Yeah. Yeah, we just released our spray primers. I have them right here. Ta-da, look at this. I have, well, that's white. Matte varnish. Of course, it's the last can I reach for. How is that? That's Murphy's Law in action right there. But yeah, we have a gray. Ta-da! Matte gray primer in a big ass can. The GW spray cans come to here at the top of the cap. We have like 25% more paint than anybody else on the market. And we've been getting tremendous reviews. The only bad reviews on our spray paints right now are that they're too matte. To which we try to educate people that that's what primer is for, is to be matte. And we will not change it. Blood rollers, no problem. That's what we're here for. Yeah, with primer, it's a funny thing, right? Because a primer is a tool. It's also a color of paint. And so you've got to look at how that tool is being used. For just primer, black, all day, every day, matte as you can get it, dead matte black primer that doesn't fill gaps and cause details to go away is what you're looking for. So both our airbrush and our spray rattle can primers are dead matte and are going to give tremendous amounts of tooth so that when you paint over them, the paint goes and stays exactly where you want it, exactly where you want it to be, all of that. And then if you're going to use things like contrast paints or speed paints, or you want to do an all-over filter or wash on a model that's just primed, then probably do a little bit of a gloss coat over the top, and then matte all that down when you're done. So those multi-layered processes, the thing with like GW and some of the other competitors of ours is that what they're trying to do is eliminate steps in painting to make it seem like you're able to go from step A to step Z in like one big step. Contrast paints, things like that. And while they're good in their base notion of speeding up, getting you onto the tabletop to play games, they set a real bad precedent on understanding how paint works, because no paints work that way other than those paints. So if you want to stick painting with those paints in that way, then those tools are great. They'll take you on forever. You can paint like that for the rest of your life and no fuss, no mess. That's great. But as soon as you start painting in other ways, layering, blending, doing all the things that we do as painters, then you'll find that those things set up a kind of a hurdle for you, because it expects paint to work in a way that is custom, so to speak, rather than how paint really works. So you'll hear it back from us all the time that, we try to make sure that the tools that we provide you are tools that you can use no matter how you paint, rather than trying to pigeonhole you into one way of painting or a very narrow band of method of painting. I don't know if there's anything that just says you can only paint it one way. There's some amazing painters out there using contrast and speed paints for the glazes and filters that they can be that are awesome. They're neat tools.
I should paint a model just using glazes and filters with our transparents. I think it would be a fun thing to do on stream. Just to show that how to do it.
Yeah, the sprays won't be in Australia yet. We're still working with figuring out how the imports go. We just released them 2 weeks ago. This is week 3 for the primers being stateside. So give us some time. Unfortunately, it's going to take us a minute to find. Now, our Australian distributor does consolidate freight out of Los Angeles on a boat, which means that we can ship them technically to Australia, but we need to find out what the import hassle for them on their end is. Australia has some really archaic, I can't say archaic, they're new progressive ideas of chemical import, and so we just need to make sure where the sprays fit in all of that. Next release, satin primers for speed paints. Nope. No. Yeah, Panic Bomb says it's a primer. You're supposed to cover it. Exactly. Roadside, yeah. No, if you've been using like the Rust-Oleum stuff, and that's good. It's a heavier resin, so it can fill details and round off details more than ours. Ours is an acetone-based spray that will dry really quick, shrink into the details so that all of the details still stay really, really crisp. So it works fantastic. It's meant to be sprayed very close to the model too, because it is so matte, so you don't want to hold it back like a foot and a half away from the model like some people do with spray paints. You want to get it really close. No problem, Black Sword. Your boss tells you about Aussie imports all the time. It's a tough country to get stuff across the border, man. It really is. Yeah, it's a primer. Baby J's supposed to cover his perfectly painted Mini with it. Opacity is key.
I don't want to see the rest of that model anymore. I'm done with it.
I'm done with it. You're killing it with the skin, man. Best skin I've seen you paint.
Thank you. I am very, very pleased with how it's coming along.
Looks fantastic.
It's a lot of building up the right values in the right spots, and then I'm going back in and just adding so much little bits of variation of color.
Yeah, greens and magentas and
I just really added a bunch of like yellowy green to some of these flat areas that are not direct in sunlight but are illuminated.
Yep.
So that you get more of that transition from warm to cool natural light as I go into these like really kind of, you know, super cold light areas.
Yep.
And I think my light placement is pretty strong on this right now. So I'll feel a little bit better with it once I get the.
Such a shame. I'm going to ruin all that with the fire and the and the. He's doing a great job. Best skin he's ever painted, and I am going to screw all that up when I paint that marshmallow in the OSL for him. So. Guardians, what's going on? We are just showing up, and we are just ending. We end at 4 o'clock most days. We've run to 4:21 today, so thanks for sticking around with us. And thanks so much to everybody who's joined us. If it's your first time here, please hit that follow button. We'd love to see you back. We stream 5 days a week here at Monument Hobbies, Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you have no idea what Mountain Standard Time is, just look at what time it is in Phoenix, Arizona, and set that on your smartphone clock, the world clock. Get rid of everything else on your world clock except Phoenix, Arizona. And when you open up that clock every day, if it says it's anywhere between 2 and 4 p.m., you need to be here. That's how that works. Just set an alarm. Black Sword, not a problem. We love it. You can tell we really hated it. You can tell we hated hanging out. Gosh darn it, they made me stay late.
Shucks.
Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm going to type some links in chat. Please follow those links. You'll have everything from the store, which is this one. Oh, not if I do it like that, it's not. That one, where you can go to monumenthobbies.com. You can buy all of the lovely paints, brushes, and accessories, as well as the models you see on screen. We sell both of these. Amazing models.
Oop. Don't zoom in. Zoom out. There we go.
Oh, see, that's it. Once you get his gray hair going, it's going to change that model entirely.
Yeah.
Because right now with the black primered hair, that's the whole meth Jesus thing people are getting.
Yeah.
As soon as you get white hair going, that's totally changed the whole model.
The gray will help a lot.
This one is also amazing. The FLGS link is the store link that shows you where you can buy from other stores closer to you. Please support your local gaming stores. They do all the tough work. They provide a place for you to play your games, meet friends, hang out, and do all the fun stuff. So buy Monument Hobbies there. If they don't carry Monument Hobbies at your local game store, go kick them in the shins. Tell them to contact us. They need to carry Monument Hobbies. White hair is meth Santa. Santa works out, dude. Do you know how much he has to lift? And then last but not least, the wonderful Discord. We'd love to see you over on our Discord community where we've got, I don't know, who's here to tell us how many people we got? Like nearly 5,000 amazing artists.
4,955.
What? 4,942 lizard cookie eaters in the Discord. Ghost Hunter, I'm glad you remember that because that was amazing. The lizard cookie. 4,942.
I was actually really close.
Crazy human beings. We need to celebrate 5,000 Discord members or something. That's only 58 Discord members already. At 5,000 Discord members, we're going to give away some cool stuff. I don't know.
I think so. We'll talk about it.
I don't know what, but we're going to find something to give away. So we'll figure it out. But thank you guys and gals so much for hanging out with us. We'd love to see you back here. We're going to find somebody to raid, so stick around, show some love in the chat we wind up in, and we will catch you guys on the flip side. Adios.